Hello,
Hello,
who am I talking to?
this is Lonnie Carey. I'm trying to figure out how to. Last time we got you on video, I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Okay, I was just trying to identify who you were. We'll put you back in the waiting room, and when the judge calls your case, we'll bring you in.
Okay, that's for Lonnie Carey.
Hello,
Yes.
who am I speaking with?
Um. My court is today. My name is Jose Cruz Morales.
Okay,
And speak Spanish, please.
we have an interpreter scheduled, so we'll bring you back in when the judge calls your case, okay?
Okay.
Who am I speaking to?
I think that's Mr. Tillin.
Okay,
You're muted, Sean.
I'm going to go ahead and put you back in the waiting room. I was just trying to identify you.
Okay,
Hi, who am I talking to?
Galen Anderson and my dad Ty Anderson. Hi.
Okay.
This is the prosecutor. I would suggest changing your Zoom name before court starts.
Yeah, I got what? Come on.
I'm just trying to identify you now. So I'm going to put you back in the waiting room, and when the judge calls your case, we'll bring you back in, okay?
Okay.
Good call.
I've seen plenty of Zoom hearings on YouTube or on Reddit where defendants join with unfortunate names that get called out at. And I don't really feel like being posted on Reddit for something like that.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to bring that one back in. Oh, he changed it now to his name. John, have you talked to Pete?
Hmm. But, Mr. Cruz is scheduled at 2:45.
Yeah, he's on, but I don't see Pete on.
Huh, I'll
Chris
call him.
isn't on either. Just emailed Chris.
We should be seeing Pete momentarily.
I just wanted to check and make sure he was still planning on being here today. I don't have any judges on yet, so. For the record, John, Donald Martin was on through the Pacific County Jail,
Yeah.
has left. I'm assuming he had to let Superior start, so.
Wait, what's that? What's happening with Mr. Martin?
He was logged on through the jail. But he's now gone. I'm assuming they had to take him off for the Superior docket.
Maybe they'll bring us back.
I just emailed Chris. See,
Hey, Lisa, Ed
Yes.
Taylor's trial is going to be at the Willapa Chamber of Commerce, right?
yes,
Okay.
Will just came on. So maybe we'll start with his docket. There's Chris. Judge Bates, I have two of your defendants on.
Okay, and who would that be?
We have Toon and we have Malia Stewart.
Okay, let's take Stewart. It looks like we have a pretrial as well as an arraignment.
Correct.
All right, the South Bend Municipal Court docket is now in session. I'm Judge Pro Tem Christopher Bates. I'm going to take some of the conflict cases first, and we have a few matters on for Malia Stewart. Ms. Stewart, if you're present and have video, can you please turn on your video? Is Malia Stewart present? Well, let's put her back in the waiting room and we can go to Dune. All right, good afternoon, sir. Can you identify yourself?
Chant Duan.
Okay. And we are here for a pretrial conference. I'm Judge Pro Tem Chris Bates. I'm hearing your case today. And your attorney, Mr. Quittner, is also present on Zoom.
Okay.
And our prosecutor's present as well. And how are the parties proceeding today, gentlemen?
Well, if we don't have a trial date set, we should set one. I've talked to the prosecutor. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, I think there's some interference. I've talked to the prosecutor about our position on this one. Our defense is general denial, and I think we're just going to end up with a trial on this one unless there's a decision to dismiss it, and Mr. Duncanson's clear on all that.
Okay. What trial dates do we have let's see, probably, where are we at with speedy trial, Mr. Quintner?
Well, let's see. I know we filed a speedy trial waiver fairly recently. Let me just pull it up. Our commencement date is November 1st, so he's not in custody, so that should give us till the end of January.
Okay,
I'm sorry, is that the end of February?
February, yep. Do we have any trial settings mid-February, Madam Clerk?
Let's see. uh, February 15.
So Mr. Quintner, if we set the trial date for February 15th and do a readiness hearing in January, does February 15th work for you?
Yeah,
Does it also work for your client?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we will set a trial date of February 15th, and we will have a pretrial readiness hearing in January. Let's do early January, Madam Clerk.
January 10.
All right, so we will be back here January 10th, same time, same place, and we'll find out if the parties are ready to proceed February 15th for trial.
very good.
Okay. And sir, that concludes your case. Thank you for being prompt and logging on today.
Thank you.
All right. If we can recall Malia Stewart.
Absolutely.
All right. The court is calling City versus Malia Stewart. Ms. Stewart, are you present? I see she's appearing pro se, so she's not Mr. Quintner's client.
It's not.
Mr. Duncanson, has the defendant reached out to you? She is pro se.
She has not reached out to me at all.
Okay. Well, Ms. Stewart, I don't know if you can hear us or not, but we'll recall your case one more time. If you're having problems logging in, if you can hear me, please call the court clerk and let us know that you are present here, because we can't have these hearings without you. So let's put her back in to the waiting room. And do we know if Mr. Martin will be appearing from the jail?
He was on earlier, but they had to take him off because the superior docket started. So
Okay. Well, let's reset his case to a date in September.
December,
Yes.
December 8.
That works for me. And Mr. Quintner, do you know how long he'll be held in custody?
No, I don't.
Okay. And that brings us to Robert Peterson. Mr. Peterson was present at our last hearing. Is he here today?
He is not.
Mr. Quintner, have you had any contact?
Since the last hearing, I don't think so. I do hear from Mr. Peterson sporadically that he is homeless, and it's not always easy for him to get a hold of me.
Right, I remember it's kind of challenging for him. Does the city have a position today on a warrant or setting the case over?
I would be fine with either. If the court did issue a warrant, just because he is homeless with no funds, I'd request a very low dollar amount warrant.
Okay.
Mostly just to get him notice to get him here.
And Madam Clerk, does he still receive mail general delivery?
Yes.
Okay.
He was in last week and picked up a card. for the login information as well. So I know he has it, but he may have just forgotten.
All right, I'm going to grant him some leniency, understanding his situation. We'll set this on December 8th. And Mr. Quintner, if you're able to speak with your client, please let him know that if he does not appear next month, there will be a bench warrant.
I certainly will.
And then that brings us to the review hearing for Joseph Rogerson.
Yes, he is in full compliance.
Okay. Then we'll just, can we put that on for internal reviews moving forward?
Sure.
Okay. And then we can try Malia Stewart again, see if she's figured out her technical problem. Is Malia Stewart present? We brought her in from the waiting room. Ms. Stewart, it appears you're logged on. Let's set these matters over to December 8th.
Okay, and that is it for you.
Okay. Well, thank you all, and we'll see you next month.
See you on the 8th. Okay. If Will would like to, we can start with the interpreter case that we have.
That would be fine with me.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Hinton,
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Counsel.
good afternoon.
Hi.
Can you see if Mr. Cruz is on there and can hear you?
Señor Cruz,
Sí,
¿me escucha bien?
sí, escucho bien.
Okay, muy bien. Yeah, we can hear each other great, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hinton, if I could, I'm just going to swear you in as to your capabilities as an interpreter.
Sure, Your Honor. I would just start with the introduction, which I forgot. Sorry about that. Pete Hinton, State Certified Court Interpreter for the Spanish language with a current and permanent oath on file with AOC as required by law. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Hinton. All right. I'll now move to Mr. Quitner. This appears to be on for a pretrial today. Where are we at?
Parties have agreed on a resolution, Your Honor, by way of a stipulated order of continuance that would last for 12 months, would require Mr. Cruz Morales to enroll in a certified domestic violence education class and follow recommendations within the next 60 days. And actually, now that I've got that part, I should say that though Mr. Hinton and I have been over the terms of the SOC in detail with Mr. Cruz, he was asking us a question about that provision of it today when the call dropped. So I would like to briefly make sure that he understands that that because this is a domestic violence charge, that part of the resolution is to require him to enroll in a domestic violence program, is certified within 60 days, and make sure that he's clear on that and agrees to that condition.
Okay. Señor, el licenciado estaba explicando al juez que ya platicamos antes de la corte en cuanto a las condiciones. Parece que entendiste todo. En cuanto a tu pregunta, en cuanto a los 2 meses, tienes que buscar en la guía telefónica un lugar con clases de violencia doméstica y dentro de 2 meses tienes que ir a una de esas clases, ¿ok?
Ok,
Eso es lo que decían los 2 meses, ¿entiendes?
sí,
Okay, gracias. So, Your Honor, I did clear that up. And like Mr. Quintner said, he called me probably 45 minutes ago. We had a good conversation. Mr. Cruz has a daughter that went over the documents with him, but out of an abundance of caution, we did it today with my services. And so I went over that again with him before court. And he was just clarifying that about the domestic violence part. When the ball did drop, we were unable to disconnect. We've now cleared that up, and I believe he understands everything else.
Well, I'd be happy to go through it, but I don't have the document.
Always the one thing that is forgotten.
There's a subtle a little I that has to be dotted, you know?
Yeah. To make sure everyone knows what we're talking about. Okay, let's see here.
I was able to deduce what was going on here. So may I clarify while you're sending that to me, is there a no contact provision?
There is at present.
Okay.
Ok, señor, están confirmando de que ya no puede tener contacto con la otra persona, ok?
ok.
So to clarify, is the court going to be entering a no contact order, an ongoing no contact order, or is the idea that the pretrial no contact order will remain in place while the SOC is pending?
The idea, I'm glad you brought that up, Your Honor. The idea here is that we are hoping the court can strike the pretrial no contact order, being that this is a resolution. If Mrs. Cruz is required first to take the crisis support network class, they could get that done, and we'll have to communicate that to her.
Entonces, señor, están diciendo que el propósito es que usted tome la clase para la violencia doméstica y después el amparo prohibiendo contacto se borra, ¿ok?
Ok, está bien.
That would be good.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure I'm understanding. We're entering a stipulated order of continuance today. I haven't seen it yet, but you're saying, you said there was going to be a no contact order in it, and then you were saying that you.
Oh,
Are you asking?
Your Honor, there's not going to be a no contact order. There's one in place right now.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. But it's not our intention that one remain in place.
Mr. Duncanson, what's your take on that?
I wasn't able to speak with the alleged victim in this case. This resolution is more based off of Mr. Morales's history and also just kind of the underlying facts as outlined in the police report.
Okay.
Usually when SOCs are entered in, any pretrial no contact orders are terminated, but I guess I'll ultimately leave it up to the discretion of the court if they want to leave one in place, or maybe make it a no, what is the word?
No hostile
contact.
So, básicamente, señor, hay una conversación en cuanto al amparo que prohíbe contacto, en cuanto a si el juez quiere que siga en pie o quiere borrarlo hoy. Vamos a ver lo que dice el juez, ¿ok?
Ok,
So, Your Honor, for the record, I indicated to Mr. Cruz that conversation was about the no contact order and that basically the parties were leaving it up to you to decide whether it would continue or not.
Okay. Well, absent any input from the alleged victim, I'm reluctant to drop any orders. I'm certainly open to hearing from the alleged victim, but I don't think it's generally good practice to just drop them without any input from the alleged victim. So from my understanding, I'm asking the lawyers to correct me if you think I'm wrong, but if I do not explicitly terminate the pretrial no contact order, does that order remain in place?
12 months.
Okay. All right. So signing, I don't see anything on the SOC that would contradict that.
So it would continue in force, Judge. Do I understand that correctly?
Unless I hear a motion from the alleged victim, or if the prosecutor asks if he's talked to her, I'd certainly accept his representation.
Okay. Señor Cruz, básicamente dice el juez que el amparo prohibiendo contacto se queda en pie. No tengas ningún contacto de ninguna forma con la otra persona hasta que la corte diga, okay?
Okay.
So Mr. Cruz understands he's to abide by all the conditions of that no contact order, no contact of any kind until the judge decides to change that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hinton. And you represented earlier that you'd been over this document with Mr. Cruz Morales already.
I have, Your Honor. Like I said, Mr. Quintner got paperwork to him. Mr. Cruz Morales confirmed to me that his daughter had read it to him, but out of an abundance of caution, we preferred to get that interpreted to him in my language as I would use in court. And so we went over the all of the most important parts of that, such as the rights that he was giving up, the stipulation of the police reports, not giving up his right to a trial. And the other things, his obligations as far as paying a certain amount of money, doing the domestic violence thing, which we just cleared up today. And I am convinced and will state as an officer of the court, I do believe he has a full understanding of it.
Okay, well, then I'll ask one question. Could you ask him to just summarize to you in his words what he understands the agreement to be?
Sure. Señor Cruz, ¿ya entiendes lo que tienes que hacer?
Sí,
Okay, ¿qué tienes que hacer?
tengo que ir a la clase 60 días y no tengo que tener contacto con mi esposa.
Okay, ¿y qué más tienes que hacer? ¿Cuánto vas a pagar?
$250.
Okay, ¿y por cuánto tiempo no vas a tener problemas?
Un año.
Okay. So far, Your Honor, we're up to, he understands he has to do a domestic violence class or look into the class or classes. He understands he's going to pay $250. He understands that he's not to have any other violations of law. He understands that this is going to last at least a year. That's where we're at the moment.
Okay. It sounds to me like he pretty well understands what's going on here. Especially you represent that he also went over it with a family member. I do think this is in the interest of justice. And as I said before, I'm certainly willing to reconsider the no contact order if I hear from the alleged victim in this case. I guess the only thing I just want to reiterate to Mr. Cruz Morales is just that make sure he understands that if he violates this, all I have to do is look at the police reports. And if if I read them and they seem to be enough to support a case, and I've already found probable cause, then he's most likely going to be convicted of this crime.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did not go over that with him, so I will add that at this time. And Mr. Quintner's asking me to get a good phone number for his wife. Is that the alleged victim?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, great. Okay. Señor Cruz, algo muy importante. Si no cumples con la clase, si no pagas el dinero, si tienes otros problemas con la ley y no hagas todo lo que tienes que hacer, el juez te puede condenar automáticamente con solo leer los reportes de la policía, ¿ok?
Ok.
Y ahora el abogado quiere un número telefónico confiable para tu esposa. ¿Lo tienes?
De ella.
Ajá, por favor.
No, es que no me lo sé. No me lo sé en mi memoria.
Okay. So, Your Honor, we went over that last portion. And I did ask him, Mr. Quintner, for a good phone number for his wife, and he said he does not have it memorized.
That's what I thought he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know more Spanish than I realized. I'm going to have to be more careful here.
I know very little, but memoranda sounded fairly easy to translate for my 2 years of high school Spanish. All right, so I'm going to find that Mr. Cruz Morales understands his rights, that he entered into this freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find that this agreement is in the interest of justice, and I am going to sign off. And Mr. Hinton, have you signed off on the interpreter portion? You'll send that into the court?
I have not, Your Honor. I have in the past, I don't remember if it was this court or not, I have authorized either counsel or the court to put my name in as having been over this by a certified interpreter by telephone rather than formally signing it. I hope
I'll just write via Zoom on record.
That would be great. And let's just see here. Señor, el juez dice que va a aceptar el convenio. Dice que has tomado una decisión voluntaria y que esto es en los intereses de la justicia y estás participando de buena voluntad y que todo va bien, ¿ok?
Sí.
Okay, and so I just went over your last statement of him making a knowing and voluntary decision and this being in the interest of justice, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hinton. I don't have anything further unless the attorneys do.
Anything from counsel? Okay.
I don't believe I signed the SOC, but feel free to pen in agreed over Zoom.
Okay.
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 I'll do that
Señor,
on my end, so it's all in one paper.
okay. Señor, ya estuvo para hoy. Hoy ya puedes colgar. Muchas gracias. Que le vaya bien, ok.
Ok, igualmente, gracias.
Pases buen día.
Ok, gracias.
Adios.
Okay, thank you.
So he's been told he can disconnect, which he has done. I don't think there are any other interpreter matters.
Okay, court administrator shaking her head that there are no others. So thank you again, Mr. Hinton, for your help.
My
and I hope you have a good afternoon.
You too, Your Honor. My pleasure. I wish the rest of you folks a great afternoon. I just have one quick question. I heard something that disturbed me last week, and I'm wondering if South Bend is awaiting the same fate as Raymond Municipal.
No,
Okay.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's unique to Raymond. Long Beach and Ilwaco are going to maintain their court as well.
Okay.
That's
Great.
just Raymond, just some budgetary and issues, I think. So.
Okay. All right. I'm glad to hear that. I love working with you folks. Thank you for your loyalty, and we'll see you all the next time around.
Thank you, Mr. Hinton.
Thank you. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye. Okay. I'll leave to the attorneys what they want to take on.
I have a couple of out-of-town attorneys on.
Okay, that would be fine.
Okay, I'll bring in Mr. Alt with Sean Tonkin.
That's okay. Okay, Mr. Alt and Mr. Tonkin, can you both hear me?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Sean?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, great. All right, we are on today for a review on this case. I don't recall when we entered our the resolution in this case, and it was a few months back. But it looks like this is a show cause on for an alleged violation of the terms of, what did we do, a stipulated order of continuance here?
No, Your Honor, this was a plea to the charge of negligent driving in the first degree.
Okay, so it's the terms of a judgment and sentence that are in question. All right, and I guess just the most basic thing, Will Penoyer, City of South Bend, Municipal Court, and we're on for City versus Sean Tonkin. As we already said, this is on for review of compliance. What was the date that that judgment and sentence was entered?
May 26, 2021.
May 26th. Okay. So then at issue, I assume here, and I'll let Mr. Duncanson speak, the issue is that it took quite some time to get the evaluation done, because I have that in hand, but it looks like it just happened a couple days ago, or yesterday for that matter. Mr. Duncanson?
If my memory recalls, when we entered into the plea, Mr. Tonkin was already in treatment, and then I think he fell out, and then this is a re-evaluation.
Okay. So what does the city want to do at this point? Have you seen the reports and the evaluation?
Yeah, I have seen the new evaluation. At this time, I would be okay with putting it back on to review and making sure that he follows through with this evaluation.
Okay. I'm going to assume that Mr. Alt agrees with this.
No issue with that, Your Honor.
I would be surprised if there were. You know, as always, we try to monitor these cases, and we're always find it a little troubling when people fall out of treatment. You know, I do want to caution Mr. Tonkin that we do take this seriously, and we're not just going to keep kicking the ball down the street, so to speak. I'm mixing up my metaphors here, but you get the idea. Kick the can down the road. That's what I was looking for. I'm glad that he is now have gotten a new evaluation, and I guess we should probably set this on for a relatively short-term review, maybe in 2 months. Does that sound all right with everybody?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
So what would be our first date in January?
10.
Huh?
January 10th.
I don't even know if I have my schedule for January put in yet for the court here. January 10th, 12:45, right?
Correct. We're
Okay.
changing over to Mondays.
Yeah, we're switching over to Mondays. Unless the attorneys have something else to add, we'll just set this on for continued review on January 10th. I don't hear anything else, so I appreciate that. And Mr. Tonkin, I wish you luck. Please stay in compliance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll make sure that we're up to date on everything prior
Okay.
to that date, Judge. I promise you that.
Thank you, Mr. Alt.
I'll be
Appreciate
dismissed then, Your
that.
Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
then
you.
you guys are free to go. Have a good day. And the other out of town attorney is on a contested infraction.
I believe so.
Can't really think of what else would have an attorney on it other than that case. I have to say, looking at Mr. Quittner's picture, he's nowhere near that handsome in person. You're muted, Mr. Quittner. You're muted.
I'm better now. That was the day I got sworn into the bar. I've gotten nothing but grizzled and weathered since then.
Yeah, no, not me. I've gotten younger, as you can see.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
you're
Happens to the best of us. I'm just teasing. Looks like Mr. Kishel is still connecting. Give this another minute or so, and then if not, we'll move on. And Madam Clerk, you're not sure which case he's on for. I'm assuming it's the contested infraction.
That's my assumption too.
Mr. Duncanson would probably know the answer to that.
I believe it's for the Demetrios. And then I'm not even going to attempt to say the last name.
Gnastasios or something. I'm butchering it too, I'm sure. Do you guys have that resolved?
I have not spoken with Mr. Kishel
Okay.
at all on this, so.
All right, and it says Boris Petrenko. I'm assuming they must be in the same firm.
Yeah, that's what I have on the paperwork.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to obviously conduct the case before he's on, but I thought maybe if there was just an agreed order to enter or something, I could do that. But otherwise, I guess let's take another matter then, and then we'll try that again.
Okay.
Do you have one in particular that's you need to put on, Madam Clerk, or?
Nope, we can start with.
Do the lawyers have an opinion?
We could do Ms. Cone because it's similar to the interpreter case.
I have it. Yeah, I have that all here in front of me too. So that would be great.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Ms. Cone. Ms. Cone, can you hear me okay?
I can't hear you, no.
You can't?
You cannot.
Ms. Cone, can you hear me?
I can't hear anything. My volume's not working.
Okay, I can hear her.
Oh, there we are. Okay. I hear you now.
Excellent. Ms. Cohn, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, before I go forward on this case, I will just state for the record that I don't know when it was, within the last couple of weeks, I encountered Ms. Cohn at the mini mart. I was purchasing some snacks and she was working there, and she asked me about the case. And I explained to her that I couldn't discuss the case with her because I'm the judge. She didn't do anything inappropriate, but I just want to put on the record that she did try to talk, the case was brought up. I'm not supposed to talk about that outside of court. And I just told her that she should direct any questions to her attorney. I'm just putting that on the record. Any concern about any bias from anybody?
Mistrial, no.
Well, if there were a trial, I might consider that, Mr. Quittner, but Ms.
I'm
Cohn,
sorry. I apologize about that.
I'm not doing it for you to apologize. We just have very strict rules about how we conduct ourselves, and I want to make sure that everybody knows everything. So,
yes.
Remember that going forward in your criminal career.
yeah, she won't have a criminal career. This is a one-time thing. So,
Yes.
Ms. Cohn, I have you on today for a pretrial in this case, and I have received a stipulated order of continuance that appears to be a resolution of this case. Have you reviewed that document with your attorney?
Yes, I have it right here, and I've agreed to the terms, and I have it signed.
Excellent. Okay. So, Ms. Cohn, I just want to make sure, what is your understanding of the agreement?
That I pay a $250 fine, and I have a year probation, and no trouble. I can't get any trouble at all for a year, or then I will be admitting what happened. And
Okay.
I get charged.
And then what'll happen? What happens then?
I could have a bigger fine, and I could do jail time.
Okay. And you would also be convicted of that charge.
Yeah, and convicted of the charge. Yes.
But
Yes.
if you comply, what happens?
It'll be expunged from my record.
Dismissed.
Dismissed. It'll be dismissed. Yes.
Okay, then I think you understand. You've stated it very well in your own terms. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's less important to me that Mr. Quittner can read it off in a nice way than it is that you understand it. That's what's important to me. And and you do.
Mhm.
So you understand, you're admitting to the police reports, that you're stipulating to their admissibility, and this is continued for 12 months, and provided that you pay $250 and don't have any other violations of law, at the end, this will be dismissed.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, this seems like a reasonable resolution of this matter. There's consequences without anything particularly severe. It'll hopefully encourage you to be a little more cautious in the future with respect to carding people.
Yes, sir, I am.
I understand that you guys are busy and it can be hard at that job to keep up with those sort of things. I used to be a doorman at a bar, so I understand.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything else I really need to address here. I think that this is acceptable within the interest of justice. I think that Ms. Cohn understands what she's getting into and what she is waiving, and I'm going to sign.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further from anybody? Are we good? Are we done on this?
Nothing further from defense.
Mr. Duncanson?
Same as the last one, just indicate my approval on documents.
Mr. Quittner, you want me to do the same?
Yes, if you could, yes.
Okay, all right, I will do that. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Ms. Cohn. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where would you like to go next?
I guess we should try the attorney again. Okay, it looks like Mr. Kishel. Can anyone hear me? Can the attorney hear me on this? It looks like he's there. Again, this is Will Penoyer, judge for the City of South Bend Municipal Court. We were calling the case of Demetrios Ilas Ganastios. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing. Mr. Kishel, can you hear me? No response. So once again, I guess we're still having connectivity problems of some kind. Madam Clerk, I guess we'll just move on again. Hope you can get it figured out.
Okay,
Worst case scenario, we can just continue. So
where would Mr. Whitner like to go next?
Where indeed, in any order that clerk feels like calling them.
Okay, Mr. Carey was on first, so we'll bring him in.
while that connects, I'm going to step out for about 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Are you guys there?
Yes, we are. We're waiting for the judge.
Okay. Lonnie's right here. I just wanted to make sure this was working.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Lonnie, when you can see your face. I'm not sure how to do it. There. Oh yeah, just like that. There you go. Okay.
Okay. All right, I am back. Thank you for your patience there, Mr. Carey. Sorry, I had to step out for 2 seconds there.
That's all right.
So again, Will Penoyer, Judge, City of South Bend Municipal Court, City versus Lonnie Ray Carey, on for pretrial today. Mr. Whitner.
John, I would ask that we continue this to the next available docket. I've just got an offer from the prosecutor that I think is a fair one. We're certainly on the road to a resolution, but I need to talk to Mr. Carey about it.
Okay. Mr. Carey, did you understand what your lawyer said?
Yeah.
He just wants to continue this to the next court date, so for 2 weeks. You have any problem with that?
No.
Okay, and Mr. Duncanson, I'm assuming you have no objection either.
No objection.
Okay, great. So we will set this off for the next court date, excuse me, which is, I don't actually know. I'm guessing it's November 24th, but I could be wrong.
It's November 24th.
So the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
Guess better to get things over with before the holiday. So Mr. Carey, you'll be on again on the 24th, same time. And talk to your Mr. Whitner beforehand, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. You can go now. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Amen.
Bye, thanks.
I'm turning this off for him, trying to. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Who do you want to take next?
No preference.
Neither.
We have Steve Smith is on.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Oh,
Mr. Smith, can you hear me?
yeah. Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, this is Will Penoyer, Judge, City of South Bend Municipal Court. We are on the record, City versus Steve Smith. It's a charge of disorderly conduct. It's on for pretrial today. Mr. Smith, I'm going to now ask your attorney to give me an update on the case. Mr. Whitner.
Okay.
Your Honor, I haven't been able to make contact with Mr. Smith. He is a co-defendant with the last offender that we had. So I'm going to assume that the offer from the prosecutor may be similar. But I have not been able to talk to Mr. Smith, and really I'm going to need to do that before we really start talking resolution in earnest. So as with the last case, I'm going to ask to continue it till the 24th, and hopefully Mr. Smith and I can talk before then.
All right, just so we can clarify, Mr. Quittner, I know you've been out of town and stuff. I mean, do you need a number for Mr. Smith, or has he called you, or is it just you haven't had a chance to talk to him yet?
He told me made an appointment to speak with me, but then the appointment wasn't kept. I've got the right number for him.
So, Mr. Smith, you were able to get a hold of your attorney?
No,
Okay.
no, sir. I got a hold of that. No.
Okay, Mr. Quittner, is there a good time he could call you, maybe?
Sure. Let me see here.
Don't mean to put you on the spot, but
No,
sometimes it helps.
Anytime before 1 on Friday.
Mr. Smith, did you hear that?
Yep.
So give Mr. Quittner a call anytime before 1 on Friday, okay?
Yes, sir.
Great. And I understand he's gotten an offer from the prosecutor, so you can at least hear out what the city is willing to do to resolve the case, and you can decide what you want to do, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to continue this matter to November 24th at the same time, and talk to your lawyer, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have to ask a question, Mr. Quittner. I have been accused of being colorblind, and I realize that Zoom does some curious things to colors. What color is your jacket? It looks sort of purple from here, but I wonder if it isn't just gray.
Everyone else, you want to weigh in on that?
It looks purple to me too.
Really?
But I noticed when he moved in the light, it looked more gray.
That's right, it's gray. The tie is purple, it's probably just having that effect with bleeding.
Well, I'm told that I actually am a little bit colorblind, so I wondered if perhaps it was expressing itself in that way. Not important court matter by any means, just a personal point of curiosity. All right, Madam Clerk, whatever you want to call.
We don't have any other defendants for Quittner in the waiting room. Robert McKinney was supposed to be on for his pretrial on a DUI, and he's not in the waiting room.
Okay.
Otherwise, we have the out-of-state attorney and then one other contested hearing.
Okay, well, with respect to, I guess we can take up Mr. McKinney's case first. Mr. Quittner, do you have anything to add on this? Have you had any contact with him?
I have. Mr. McKinney, I can't diagnose things, but he seems to me to have some intellectual deficit or another. Not that I think I think he's competent, but he may have been confused as to how he was going to participate in court. So I would just ask for the warrant not an issue and that we set this over.
Well, given that you have spoken with him, Mr. Quittner, I'm willing to do that. That coupled with the fact that the Supreme Court seems to not want us to issue warrants unless we really have to. So that being the case, we'll move this one over to the 24th as well. I will note the voluntary non-appearance, though, just so that it doesn't mess up Mr. Duncanson's schedule or the court's schedule. Anything else on this?
Nothing else.
Okay. And so that's it for Mr. Quittner's cases then, Madam Clerk?
Correct.
Okay. In that case, thank you, Mr. Quittner.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Try and bring Mr. Kishel again.
I'm sorry?
Shall we try and bring in Mr. Kishel again?
Sure. All right, Mr. Kishel? Oh, great, he's on now. And he's gone. Mr. Kishel? Mr. Kishel, can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon, sorry.
Great. We've had some connectivity issues. I'm glad we're able to get you on, sir.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Great. So Will Penoyer, Judge, City of South Bend Municipal Court. Mr. Kishel, you are on today for a contested infraction for I'm already losing my spot here, Demetrios. Could you tell me the last name, please?
Yes, Ganatius, and
Ignatius?
Ganatius.
Okay, that's on for a contested infraction today. Mr. Duncanson, the city prosecutor, says he hasn't had a chance to speak with you yet about the case. Did you want to continue this to have a chance to talk with him, or did you want to do something else?
I actually wanted to, I don't know if they are present today. I did not receive discovery. I was wondering if they had discovery. And if we have to continue, we'll continue.
Okay.
Do you know if the city is appearing today or?
Yeah, the city's here. Mr. Duncanson's there. If you can see him in the panel there.
Okay. I don't know.
Mr. Duncanson, do you know what's going on with discovery?
Yeah, so based off of my records, it looks like Madam Clerk emailed it to Mr. Kishel on the October 4th, I believe.
October 4th. And actually, I think Mr. Petrenko is attorney of record. I'm sending in today, and I'm not sure if he maybe didn't print it out. I was wondering if the prosecuting attorney, I can in chat text our email address correctly. If we can continue, I have authority to waive speedy.
Okay.
Thank you, honors.
I don't have Mr. Duncanson, is that fine with you?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. So we'll just move this to the 24th, and Mr. Duncanson, do you want to just send him, do you want to just give him your email right now?
Yes, may I, it's like my first name, Andreas, Andreas, at Kishel Law, like my last name Law, KISCHELLAW.com. If you could reset it, I apologize. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so Andreas at KishelLaw.com. All right, so we'll just do this on the 24th.
Of November, right?
Yep, and if you guys resolve it ahead of time, obviously you don't need to necessarily appear, Mr. Kishel. If you guys do have a resolution, I'm happy to just sign that if it has your signature on it.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, Honor.
Okay, thanks very much. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
All right, and then anything else? Or we just, I know we have a contested infraction, but.
Yep, one last contested infraction.
Okay, and that is?
Mr. Anderson.
Kaylin Anderson. Okay.
I think I'm all done though, right?
Yes, you are, sir.
You guys have a good night.
You too, thank you. Good afternoon, Will Penoyer on as judge for the city of South Bend. Are you Kaylin Anderson?
Yes.
How you doing, Mr. Anderson?
Pretty good.
You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, what I've got you on for today is a contested infraction in our court. What that means is that you have been charged with, looks like the officer didn't write you up for a couple of things, but he did write you up for one thing, which is violation of instruction permit. And have you received a copy of that ticket?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you contesting that ticket? Are you saying that that did not occur? Or are you asking the court to consider your circumstances and maybe give you a lower fine?
I want to contest.
Okay.
Yeah, contest the ticket.
Okay. Well, I have read the officer's report, and now is your chance to say whatever you want to tell me.
Okay. So it says on the ticket that it's a infraction of my driver's permit, but I don't understand how it could be infraction on my driver's permit if the thing I was driving isn't considered a motor vehicle, or that it's a moped, and I couldn't like do anything with like logging hours, and yeah, I couldn't practice driving. I couldn't it wasn't anything to do with my driver's permit.
Okay, so your assertion is that you did not need a driver's instruction permit to drive the moped?
Yes.
I just want to make sure I'm clear.
You're not able to log hours. You're not.
Yeah.
You can't use it to practice.
I can't use it to practice. So yes, I believe that's true.
Okay, what you said something about log out, what does that mean?
For my driver's license to like, I have to get a certain amount of hours to get my license, and that's for my driver's permit.
Okay.
That's what
You have to do it with a parent or
yeah,
somebody.
you have to, I have
Oh.
to be with a parent and then drive a vehicle with a licensed driver
Okay.
in a vehicle.
That must be a new rule, but when I got my license, you could drive with your parent when you were 15 and a half, but I don't recall tracking hours on it or anything. So
Yeah, we have to get
I'm
50
learning
hours.
something new here from you. But I'm looking at the statute, and from what I can tell from reading this, the officer says that you were driving the moped and you do not have a driver's license. A moped that in the state of Washington is a motor vehicle. You said you don't have a license, and you didn't have your ID or insurance card, and you didn't have registration or insurance.
The registration was under the seat and I couldn't get to it because I didn't have something to open it.
It's under
Okay.
39 cc's, so you don't have to have insurance for 49 cc's.
Okay, all right. So I'm actually making sure I understand the rule here myself. That's why I'm kind of delaying here. I mean, it looks to me like you kind of got a break, and that you had some things that you should have had access. You know, you're supposed to be able to have access to the insurance and registration so that if an officer pulls you over, he can see it right then. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
On the other hand, specifically, you're being charged with a violation of an instruction permit. And looking at the statute in question, 4620-055-3A, it says a person holding a driver's instruction permit may drive a motor vehicle other than a motorcycle upon the public highways if they have immediate possession of the permit. So the way I read that is that you actually you're not allowed to drive a moped unless you have a license. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, because what it says here is that you can't drive a motor vehicle. You cannot drive a motor vehicle other than a motorcycle, or you may drive a motor vehicle other than a motorcycle upon the public highways if you have a permit. So that implies to me that a motorcycle cannot be driven while you don't have a license yet and you only have a permit. So that is the case, and he could have cited you for that, but he did not. What he cited you for specifically was a violation of an instruction permit. And it does not look to me like an instructor permit actually applies in the case of a motorcycle. So I think that in a very technical sense, you are not guilty of that. So I'm going to dismiss the infraction.
Okay.
But I want to make sure, Mr. Anderson, you kind of got lucky here.
Yeah.
You got lucky with what he did and did not charge you with. And it's kind of a confusing rule. I mean, it caused me pause, and I've read a lot of laws in my life. So I would strongly encourage you to maybe take a look at those rules yourself. Sounds to me like you actually can't drive a motorcycle at this point. Maybe there's some definitions about mopeds versus motorcycles, but based on what I'm reading here, it looks like you don't actually have the right to do that. And you do have to actually have access to your insurance, your ID, etc. It has to be to hand. It can't be in locked compartments. Do you understand?
Yes.
So my hope is that you've learned something, but I'm not going to find you guilty. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And please drive safely in the future and follow the rules.
I will.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Mr. Quitner is back.
Well, it looks like Mr. Duncanson is not though, so there goes my idea to recall Mr. Peterson.
Oh, is he around?
Yeah, he contacted me from the library. He just wasn't able to connect on Zoom for various reasons.
Okay, well, I can't really do much with that. And did Mr. Bates issue a warrant?
He did
I'm
not.
sorry, I forgot it was
Okay.
Christmas Day.
So I don't think it really, okay.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Quittner.
That's it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And have